This is a very anxious moment for the residents of the Eastern Cape as they await to hear what went wrong with the crime stats of the previous term or previous quarter. Well, as you would understand, there has been a number of incidents, especially in the Eastern Cape, regarding shooting and illegal firearm possession, with the most recent being a shooting that took place just at a stop sign due to road rage, where a lady did not stop and then a person who was driving decided to take out a gun and shoot at her. Even now, we're still waiting to see more suspects in another incident of the Biki family where 7 people were killed just the other day in Mthatha, and also an incident that recently took place here in New Brighton, which is where the stats are going to be revealed, where 6 people were killed in a mass shooting that has become quite a concern to see what is exactly happening and what the problem is with regards to that. But this is not the only issue with crime within the province. We have seen people reporting that they have been robbed at daylight, and some saying that they're not even safe in their own homes because someone can just come in and open fire and everyone is likely to die. So it's really a concern and very anxious moment for residents of Eastern Cape. But right now I'm going to speak to the MEC of Community Safety to find out some of the concerns that he has with regards to this. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you. Good morning to your viewers.
We just had a conversation right now when you were saying that this is really worrying. You are concerned with the crime statistics of this area.
Yes, as a provincial government, we are deeply concerned about the rise of the crime levels in this area. Of course, that would include Buffalo City and OR Tambo as our hotspots areas in the province. And we worried because it is gravitating towards, where people, are living in fear in their own, homes. And we are not, helpless under these conditions. And SABC, working together with our department, we have put up programs. And some of those programs I've led myself, including the holding of roadblocks and raids that are unannounced. And we've registered many successes. But it's quite clear that the extent of the problem is so big. It requires, closer collaboration and mobilization of communities. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And these stats that are to be released today, we'll use it, as a basis of strengthening our plans so that how we deploy our resources, we deploy them in a way that makes the fight against crime an effective and a successful one. So that's what we're going to be doing now. And, we're inviting communities to work with us because these, criminals are part of the community. They belong to households. And that's why we want communities to cooperate with us so that we can get rid of the criminals in our communities.
And MEC, another rising concern is the issue of mass killings, especially the shootings around our province or across our province. How do you feel about that, and where do you think the problem is? Not so long ago, contact crime was actually the one that seemed to be on top because people seem not to have much access to firearms. Where are your concerns there?
The concern there relates to how then crime is becoming more organized, and therefore there are territorial fights between various groups, whether it's about drug-related syndicates, and others relate to extortion. Where there are demands for some shops to pay some money. Some people are being kidnapped to pay a ransom. We've had recently in East London. That's why we must better organize ourselves in order to defeat organized crime. And we are putting those measures in place, and we've been able to register a breakthrough. One of the important things which has been happened recently was the ability of very members of SABC to arrest their own who are involved in criminals activities, because that's quite critical. Because if members of SABC have got some rotten potatoes, those elements are linked to those who commit crime. So the more we clean SABC, the more we sharpen the ability of SABC to fight against crime. And I really appreciate when members of SABC are able then to act against their own members, so that we restore even the trust of communities to SABC, because at times communities are reluctant to go and report at the police station because they no longer trust the police in those areas. That's what we're going to be doing, to better organize ourselves and coordinate ourselves and use the crime intelligence information more effectively to target specific areas, so that we can nip this scourge in the bud.
And just lastly, I can't let you go unless we talk about this, the gender-based violence. It is a hot issue in this area. How do you feel about the turnaround time in terms of the response to GBV cases? Also, do you feel like there are adequate facilities to house GBV victims, and are they well taken care of?
Well, it's an area that is work in progress, and I wouldn't say that it's adequate. I think that I would say that we have made serious efforts to providing facilities in all the police stations to support victims of GBV, and we have engaged in an extensive awareness campaign to heighten awareness about the rights of citizens and those who are victimized. And part of the escalating numbers owed to the fact that people now are aware about their rights and they report these cases. But of course we remain concerned with the rise. We must lower the fight against it and eliminate the scourge of violence against women and children. And last Saturday I was in Katkat to close the provincial days of 16 days of activism against violence against women and children. And all role players, including organs of civil society, we are determined to work together to fight against the scourge. It's part of the whole program of the provincial government, working together with various sector departments.
Thank you so much, MEC. Well, that was the MEC for Community Safety saying that he is very concerned with the rise in terms of crime stats in this area, and saying that collaboration is key to alleviate the plight that the community of the Eastern Cape province find itself faced with, and saying that they are working hard with SAPS to make sure that these issues are being dealt with and that victims find a place of comfort. I also mentioned that even though he could not say at this point in time there is adequate infrastructure and assistance for gender-based violence, but it is work in progress. They're trying by all means to come together and make sure that people are aware of their rights, and applauding residents for being willing to report any crime they come across, and saying one of the reasons for the rise in terms of crime reports is because residents are now aware of their rights and they stand up and come out to report, and now basically the ball is in the police's hand, court to decide what to do. But also, let me just step back and show you what is happening behind me. Right now we wait patiently as the MEC is about to reveal the crime stats of the Eastern Cape province, wondering what is going to happen and where has the problem been. But right now, from myself and Nqonji and colleague Gqeberha, it's back to you in studio.